All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. So today I have a very interesting topic I wanted to talk about, and especially for all the new players coming into this game, I thought we would dispel some of the rumors that this game may be pay to win and or, you know, how bad is it actually. So as a person who's been playing this game for 7 years, I have definitely seen a lot of the trends and improvements over the years. And let's talk about that. So, if you've ever watched a video of someone else talking about, oh, this game is pay to win and everything, I wanted to make sure to tell you what it's like in 2023. So, if you were to start the game today, here's what to expect. So, I have my list of things right over there. So, if I'm just like looking at randomly, it's because I have a sticky note there. So, I guess to give you a realistic idea of if I were to start the game today, here's what I would do. And if I were to make another account just completely free to play, this is what you should expect. As well as to give you a realistic estimate, I think I buy pearls maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, considering this is like my full-time MMO, as in the one I play the most. And even then, that's only when I see a sale on it. So like, you know, the $60 bundles where you get 2 for the price of 1 and just basically double value. That's kind of really the only times I get it. So I think the way we should start this is if you were thinking about starting this game, here's how I look at it. So you know your standard AAA title or whatever game is like $60 to $100 depending on like collector's editions and whatnot. So that's just a general baseline of where I would start the game. If you were thinking about playing Black Desert today, let's say you are within $100 price range. That's just a number I picked out. What would I get? And I have a video on how you can get the most value with your money in the Pearl Shop. I'll try to leave a link in the description if I remember it. So if you want to watch it, cool. But anyway, let's talk about things in this game where you can get them for free and or how you can just look at it without spending any money and how it will affect you. So, number 1 being pets in this game. As you guys know, every MMO has some sort of pet system. You know, sometimes they're cosmetic, sometimes they're not. In this game, the way pets work is they do give you buffs. So, yeah, I can see where the argument of, oh, pay to win. But here's the thing. If you were to ask me, would I rather have 5 tier 1 pets or 1 tier 5 pet? As in, like, the tier 5 pets are obviously, like, better than tier 1s. I would choose 5 tier 1s over 1 upgraded one. So what they do in this game is basically when you're grinding, like doing your circles, killing enemies, they pick up loot for you. And you're probably thinking, oh, okay, so I have to spend a lot of money for the pets and then upgrade them. And realistically, they give you a lot of pets in this game for free. Also, you could just buy it off the central market. It's kind of difficult, but you can. And so let me give you an idea. When I got my pets, this was years ago. After I got like a bunch of tier 4 ones, I never had to buy them again. And all of these pets just down this list were given free just from events or playing the game normally. So if you're wondering, oh, I have to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars, that's actually not true. You just get them just from random events login. And I do believe if you are actually, like, if you buy the game, you know how it is like the normal game or like the Conqueror's Edition, whatever the thing. It's on sale right now, by the way, actually. It kind of just gives you pets as a start. I guess that would be like a good thing. So if you were fresh as a new player, it's not like you start with nothing. They kind of just give it to you as handouts. And there's also some quests down here. I don't remember where it is, but somewhere in your suggested tab. And you just do them, and it gives you pets for free. So it's like you don't have to spend any money. A lot of this game is pay for convenience, which some people can, I guess, believe it is pay to win. But it's more just like, I could do all of this stuff free to play in, I don't know, 1 week, or I could just get it done in 1 day. That's kind of how it is. Even if someone spent, like, I don't know, $10,000 on this game, can you compete with the higher end players? Yes and no. Like, you will have some of the gear, but at the same time, if you're not good at your class, and at the same time is like, if you don't know how to play it, you're still gonna get clapped. You're not gonna like win against other people who do have the same gear levels and everything. So it's a little bit of having gear versus skill, but ultimately at the end of the day, we're talking about your average player of, can I do most of these things without spending money? And the answer is yes, you can. You don't have to spend too much money on this game, or just very minimum, and I think that's a good thing. So some things I would recommend learning in this game is learning how to understand the central market. So every MMO has some sort of marketplace, market board, and or trading system. So this game is, you can buy pearl items off the market every now and then. There's a pearl tab, so people who like to, I guess, whale in this game, spend money. You can technically buy it without you having to spend any in general, which I guess that's pay to win in a sense, but at the same time, there is a limit. Like, you can't just drop 10 grand and be like, I'm gonna turn all that into silver with real money. There's a limit weekly, so I mean, yes and no, but at the end of the day, most people aren't doing that, despite what people may imagine. So I think that's only like 1%, not even 1%. Few players actually spend that much money. And as an average player or a new player for you, you'll be fine. Trust me on that one. So you can just put orders on various things you think you need, and you'll be fine. Next thing I wanted to talk about was loyalties. So loyalties are the things you get every day. It's a number right here. Every day you get like 200, and is what can you buy with it. So if you go onto the Pearl store, there's a tab for loyalties. Basically, it's kind of like the free-to-play version of, if you don't spend money, you can still get stuff as well without spending it, which I think is good. So what are the things I would recommend getting as some loyalty items? And realistically, I think the things that are important to get are things you can't originally get without spending money. So like expansions, stable things, I don't know, just anything you really think you need, like weight, for example. That's a good one. So overall, at the end of the day, it's kind of personal preference what you get, but just know you can still get them without spending money. And here's another topic that I wanted to talk about, the camping tool. So everyone's heard of the Nadar's Camp Old Moon tent. So I'll leave a link in the description on how to get it for free. So I won't talk about it in this video, but if you want to watch that one and how to do it. So basically in this game, there is a, where is it? Let me try to find it. Travel aid campsite. So basically this campsite allows you to basically repair, buy buffs all in one. And yeah, you're probably looking at it like, oh, 4,900 pearls, that's like $50, right? So the difference between the non-paid version and the paid version is that one is permanent, and you don't have to, once you buy it, you don't have to worry about it ever again. I play this game like every day, so I think it's worth it for me. But if you're thinking about starting this game and you're unsure if it's worth it for you, there's a quest line in this game somewhere in your suggested tab. I don't exactly know where it is, but just check the link in the description, and I have a video covering how to do it and all the materials you need. Pretty easy. But the free version is basically you do it and the thing lasts for 7 days, and then once the thing expires, you basically get the materials and remake it again for another 7 days. So technically the effects are the same, you just don't spend money, and the paid version is just permanent. Like, you don't have to ever worry about that again. So personally, if you're a new player, I would recommend just getting the free one and watch the video in the description. I'll show you how to get everything, how to craft it, what materials you need, and how to, like, you know, it's all done for you. So that's kind of always been a hot topic. And if you are planning on buying the permanent one, I would not recommend spending full value or pay full price for it, just because it does go on sale quite often. And every now and then they give you like discount coupons. So instead of paying full price, I would just, you know, wait till a sale. So either way, whatever choice for you, just don't pay full price for it. That's just my opinion, hard truth on it. And next thing we're going to talk about is the buffs in this game. So if you've ever played any other MMOs in this game, you know how it is like a $15 a month sub. Pretty standard MMO practice. And in this game, I would say the equivalent of... where is it? The equivalent of the $15 sub in this game is a value pack. It gives a lot of extra benefits. So this is one of the things that I would recommend people to actually buy, because it's the equivalent of a sub and you just get a lot of value in terms of if you were to buy these items individually, you're just going to spend more. So it's kind of standard practice. It's not mandatory, but if you were going to drop to 15, then this is what it is. But if you aren't, here's what I would do. So as you guys know, if you have the value pack, you get, it's not that you get taxed less, but you get a little bit of a refund. So like the tax is 30%, but if you have the value pack, you get a little bit of that back. So it's like technically less tax. You don't get as much taken off as you would. So either way, I think that's one thing. And here are some free-to-play options for you guys. So as you guys know, if you sell something on the market, it'll be like, okay, so I can collect this item now, right? Make sure not to collect it if you don't have the value pack on, and wait till you sell enough items. And then here's what I would do. With loyalties, there's an option to buy a 1-day value pack for 2,800. That's like once every 2 weeks or something. I don't know. And what I would do is wait until you have enough items sold and then get that 1-day value pack and then collect all of it. So the sales tax applies when you collect the money, not the moment it's sold. So if you're trying to min-max it and you want to be free to play, just sell all the things, but don't collect it. Get the value pack, then collect it, right? Cool. That's just one tip I can give to new players. And then there are two other buffs that people have always talked about in terms of, oh, these are mandatory, and no, they're really not. So let me talk about this real quick. So there are, where is it? Temporary buffs called the Blessing of Kamasylve and the Secret Book of Old Moon. These things are like, God, how do I say this without sounding like it's it's worse than it actually is? These are additional buffs that are like 15 days, right? They kind of give these out a lot by holidays and everything, so you don't really need them. And basically, you could just hover over what they do. More XP bonuses just over time. And if you were planning on getting one or the other, if you don't want to spend any money, these are definitely not required. I would definitely skip them if you wanted to. But I personally think if you can only have one, the Secret Book of Old Moon is worth a lot more, and you'll get a lot more value out of it over the Blessing of Kamasylve. So, yeah, that's that. So you could look at what kind of buffs they give, what kind of stats, and figure out which one you need more. But I personally think the Secret Book of Old Moon is a lot better. And now we're going to talk about something that I've always had the same stance on: weight versus inventory in this game. So as you guys know, inventory is just a common thing. Everyone knows what it is. You have total number of inventory slots, right? And then you have a thing called weight limit. So every item has, a weight. And people have asked me which one is more important, weight versus inventory. And in my opinion, the answer is weight, because it allows you to carry more. Just overall, chances are you won't need to buy as many things. And so like your inventory will probably never be full. And to give you an idea, I have 53 out of 191. And this is just like realistically, this is how much I have in my inventory. And this is my main character. So sometimes you can have more, but realistically you don't need it. And so I value the weight a little bit higher. And here's how to get more weight just in case you don't want to spend money. So first of all, we're going back to the Loyalties tab again. And this is the no money thing, and you just kind of scroll down. They sell different weight limits. You can buy them multiple times, I believe like 4 or something. So that gives you extra weight limit, and it's per character. So just be careful on that. Know what you want to do before you buy it. And actually, there's actually a tab somewhere of where you can get more inventory just by doing random quests in this game, or if you're playing on a season, I believe it just kind of gives it to you for free. And let me actually show you something. And here in my storage, you see all these items. These are inventory expansion coupons, right? I have not paid for any of them. I've gotten them from event login rewards, seasonals that they just give it to you, holiday gifts that logins and stuff. So honestly, I can max out my inventory on another character if I wanted to, but it's just, you don't really spend it, and they just kind of give it to you more often than others. So that's why I would say weight is more important if you were to spend, but realistically, there are ways to get around both of them. And let's say you're grinding and your inventory fills up really quickly, like your weight limit is maxed out, right? So as you guys know, if you have a horse, that horse has a weight limit. You could put all your weight or your trash loot that you got from grinding on your horse. And yes, you can overstack it past the limit. The developers know that is intentional. Not really, but I mean, it hasn't been fixed in 7 years of me playing this game. So I assume they're never going to fix it. They know about it. Everyone knows about it. People still do it. And so the way it works is you just put your trash loot on your horse. And then if you do that again, you take the weight off and then put it on, restack. And you basically never have to pay for that extra weight ever again. But it is what it is. And so there are ways to get around it. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was more on the side of things they give away, but here's how to get around it cheaper than other options. So there are maids in this game, and what they do is allow you to have a storage or deposit and withdraw from your storage out in the world and or central market. So let me say that realistically, you don't really need that many, and you probably don't even need them at all at some points, because if you do the Magnus quest, it allows you to just use everything in one. So back in the day, people would buy a lot of them. Now in 2023, it's less relevant, so I don't think they're important, but they also do give them away from events that sometimes, I think there's a few events going on right now that you can get them for free, so I think that's good. And let's finally, actually one more thing before we head out, let's talk about costumes. Okay, so this is probably one of the more, well, actually I have 2 more things to talk about now that I look at it. Costumes. So this is very standard practice in a lot of games. If you buy costumes, what you can do with them is obviously they can be used for either cosmetics, or you can melt them down for cron stones and enhance your gear with it without having it downgrade. So yes, that is considered pay to win more or less in my eyes. It's not guaranteed, which is why most people, I don't know, it's hard to justify spending a lot of money on it. And yes, you can do it, but it's not like you can buy infinite costumes and just sell it on the market. You would have to use it for yourself, and then that's where the money sinks go in. So in my opinion, would I say a lot of people do it? There are less people that I know that drop tens of thousands of dollars on the game to enhance it themselves. Instead, most people just either try to order it off the central market for silver, as in like someone else pays for it and then you don't. It's still a wonky system in my opinion, but it is what it is. And I think realistically it won't affect you as a player. And if you're like those players who actually do it are into like the 1%, chances are you probably won't run into them and you'll be fine. So it's not going to affect your gameplay. I don't think a lot of people actually do it. Nowadays, in 2023, it's not as bad no matter what server you're on. And and I play on NA, where people like to think that you can get costumes like every day. You can't. It's a little bit more common than other servers, but either way, it's not as common. And one thing, in my opinion, is the most pay to win in this game is the Fairy. So as we all know, the Fairy in this game is like your companion. It's not a combat one, but it gives some pretty intense buffs and or effects. So you can get a Fairy for free. You can upgrade it all the way to a tier 4 Fairy for free. The hardest part about it is getting the relevant skills, in my opinion. So getting a Fairy is just getting those Lila petals and then turning it into the NPC at the Kamasylve temple, and you can get one. And the way you can upgrade those fairies is by buying those honey things. Where are they? You can buy these sweet honey wines to power level your things. It's like $0 real, and or buying green gear off the market, which is pretty cheap, and then it works basically the same way. I don't know which one is cheaper. I haven't had to mess with my fairy in a long time, but either way, getting it is not bad. Re-rolling the right skills is where the money sink comes in. And so if you are at the stage where you're thinking about what should I get, let me talk about this. The relevant ones you should probably re-roll for if you are not spending any money is Miraculous Cheer. And then this basically allows you to, like, the fairy will use your potions for you, and the way it works is, like, if you have potions, like your health and mana ones, you set it to a percent number. There's a little slider right here, and then you can have it use your potion when your health or mana go down below a certain point. And so that's what Miraculous Cheer does. It allows you to auto pot without you having to manually press that button, which I think is very, like, pretty sure that's like the most important thing. And then there's Feathery Steps, which is, when we talked about weight before, we talked about how I thought weight is more important than inventory. So this allows you to go past the 100%. So, like, let's say your weight is at 3,000 total, and then if you go past that 3,000, this allows you to go to 125%. So, I don't know, something past that, 125%. And then there's Continuous Care, which is, I do think this is an important one, but I do also think this is one for more of the end game players. So realistically, do I think Continuous Care is worth it? It depends where you are in this game, but if you are looking for, like, must-haves, I would just keep re-rolling my fairy until I get, like, a Miraculous Cheer, and then hope for the best. Everything else is nice to have, but Miraculous Cheer is probably one of them where I would consider it mandatory, which is kind of shocking. But anyway, getting the fairy, easy. Getting the right skills, not the easy part. That's where people sink a lot of money. So just be careful of that. But that's what I wanted to talk about. And yeah, so let's talk about overall what I think of the game. Is BDO pay to win? Technically, yes, you can. But if you were to compare how much people spent back in the day, 5-6 years ago, to how much you spend nowadays, I think they've done a really good job at actually reducing the amount you feel like you need to spend. So I think that new players can get into this game a lot easier. They definitely know that. And so I think it's a good thing. And if I were to start a new account today, I think less than $100, and I consider that like the entry, because, like, that's how much you would pay for a normal game, right? Like, I don't know, some standard AAA title. So I think you guys can do fine with under 100, and that's honestly the truth. And so there are things obviously that might take a little bit more time. So if you're trying to get, like, maxed out perfect pets, that just takes time, but you can get it just by playing the game. I told you how to get around the whole weight and inventory system, and using your loyalties is just logging in every day to play the game and learning the central market and just knowing what kind of events that are going on right now. Because, like, for example, let's say there's an event where they're giving out a free pet, right? And if you know what kind of pet is being given away, chances are the end game players who already have everything maxed out, they're just gonna sell it on the market. So just put an order up when the events are on, and as long as you like learn what's happening, you can get it yourself. And it's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So hopefully that made a little bit of sense. If you have any questions or things were confusing, please ask. I want to make sure you guys have fun without like making sure you don't do anything weird in terms of getting like ripped off or anything. So I'm happy to help you guys. And yeah, just feel free to ask, leave it in the comments, join the Discord. If you have any questions, we have a channel for a lot of guides and everything. So if you're new to the game and you've never been to my channel before and this is like the first video you've seen of mine, welcome. Hopefully you hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys come back. I make videos for new players, returning players, and people who are just looking to get better at the game in general. And before we wrap up, I just want to do a quick little announcement. From July 7th to August 16th, if you are thinking of picking up the game or buying A coins, which are pearls in this game, I know we just talked about can you do this free to play, but if you are planning on spending any on the game, use my code Jonlaw. It's on the screen somewhere, and I get a small portion of what you spend. And even if you don't, that's cool with me. I just hope you're having fun with the game and or learning something. So I do appreciate it regardless of what happens. And I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you guys tomorrow. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hopefully you learned something, and I will see you later. Peace.